How can we motivate our daughters who are new mothers to stop using iPad and Facebook and bring up their children in a good family? Guide me, please. Or as a good family member.
So this question is, how can we, and I'll just generalize it. You know, how can we, I think the question was regarding daughters and iPad and Facebook. Khwani, I think the first thing, and you know, this is just my own personal experience, is whatever you tell somebody else to do, you have to be willing to do it yourself. And so one of the first things you have to be willing to do is you yourself need to be willing to put the phone down. And recently I've taken to putting my phone on Do Not Disturb for 23 hours a day. I only have it open for 1 hour a day. Because at the end of the day, wallahi, ikhwani, I tell you, and I tell you this honestly, there is nothing more valuable as a resource in this dunya than your time. Your money comes and goes. You can be rich one day, poor the next day, and rich the next day. But those 5 minutes that you spent, they will never come back. So you really need to use social media in a positive way for a limited amount of time. Because when it takes over your life, this is the problem. And the example has to come from everybody. So you might, for example, have a basket for phones. When everybody walks in the house, the phone goes in the basket. Everybody, father, mother, daughters, everybody goes in there. And you know, restrict yourself to a set number of hours. For example, you can browse the internet for an hour before bed, or an hour, you know, when you come back from school, or whatever it is, you can be flexible. But give yourself some limits that everybody in the house adheres to. There's no point saying to your daughter, my daughter, don't be on the iPad while you have your iPhone in one hand. And you're going through and saying, you know, my daughter, I don't want you to be on the iPad. You yourself have to be willing to give that up. You have to be willing to stop that. And I think also, it's really important to ask yourself what you want to achieve out of something. You know, if you are wanting to, for example, benefit with some dawah activities or something beneficial or learn some beneficial knowledge, then, you know, give yourself a target. But just browsing the internet is almost always a waste of time. Just browsing for the sake of browsing. Have a purpose. Your purpose might be, you know, I want to learn something, I want to learn something beneficial. We know there are good Facebook accounts that post reminders, good Twitter messages. You know, have a purpose that you want to have behind it, and don't just have a browse anything as much as you like, because, you know, if you survive one day, then I don't think you'll survive two without seeing something haram or without wasting your time. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best.